Is a movie called Bones and All. Bones and All is a movie starring Timothee Chalamet and Taylor Russell. I'm gonna try to be not so. I'm gonna try to be a little bit vague about it, not go into so much detail in this movie because I think some with this movie you kind of want to go in maybe not knowing much because I didn't really know much about the movie going in, even though it is based on a book. So just so people kind of just show and go like, because I kind of was like, what the fuck, like what the hell is happening? Kind of when I was watching it, and kind of what it turns into. So I'm going to be a little bit vague here in the description. So just the basic setup. It does follow this girl. This girl played by Taylor Russell, and her name is let me see. Let me go to her name real quick. Marianne, and she kind of is outcast amongst a group of people. Dad decides to leave her, and she kind of goes on a mission to find her mother after her dad leaves. In her journey to find her mother, she runs into Timothee Chalamet just randomly, and they kind of instantly form a connection and bond. And through that kind of bond, you kind of see them kind of grow closer and closer together, being these two people who are outcasts of society. And this is the director of this movie, Luca Giudango is how you pronounce it. I think maybe I know I missed.
I think it's Guadagnino.
Guadagnino, okay. Yeah, and so this is from the director. He did Call Me by Your Name, which also starred Timothée Chalamet, and he did 2018 Suspiria. And knowing that, I seen 2018 Suspiria, I've never finished Call Me by Your Name, but knowing that it's from the guy that both those movies, this kind of makes sense. Like, it kind of does have those things in this movie where it kind of feels like, oh yeah, I could see the guy from Suspiria and the guy who did Call Me by Your Name, because it does have that kind of that love story, that romance of something like Call Me by Your Name in it. I mean, it doesn't have like the huge age gap difference of like a 25-year-old and a 17-year-old. Doesn't have kind of like a creepy age gap difference there. Because I know in the book that it's based on, I don't know if you know of the book. Do you know much of the book?
No, I've never read the book.
Okay, so because I was watching another YouTuber, she was talking about the book. Her name is Amanda the Jedi, and she gave a review of Bones and All. And she had read the book, and she was saying like the age gap in the book is like, I think the girl is like 16 or something. In this movie, she's 18, and then the Timothée Chalamet character, he's like in his early 20s or something like that. So they kind of age it up in the movie there. Who I was interested to find out the girl who's playing 18 is Taylor Russell. She plays 18 in the movie, but she's 28 in real life, which I'm like, wow, I could totally buy her as like even younger. I was actually thinking she was younger than 18 actually. I could kind of buy that, but so they kind of age it up here in the movie. And through their kind of travels there, you see with Timothée Chalamet and Taylor Russell, them together, they run into kind of some other people who are in a similar situation as them, who are kind of the same as them. One who's played by Michael Stolberg, who's a really great character actor. See him pop up in tons of stuff. I first saw him when he was in Boardwalk Empire, where he did a really great job. And he's also been in stuff like A Serious Man. He was in Men in Black 3, where he had like a small role in that as an alien in that. I think he even in something like Men in Black 3, I think he did fantastic in that. You know what I mean? Like, he always shows up and really gives it an amazing performance and things. But him showing up, I thought was really good, really fantastic in this movie. You also have a very, very creepy performance from Mark Rylance, who's in this movie. Shows up as a guy named Sully, who I think should be considered for best supporting actor because of the type of performance that he gives here. I think he's that good in this. What were some of your thoughts on Bones and All there?
My thoughts are that this is one of my favorite movies of the year. Like, it's a movie that it's been a couple weeks since I've seen it, but I haven't been able to stop thinking about it. Like, there's so much about it that's just so spectacular and so well done, from the filmmaking itself. Like you said, like, you can kind of tell it's the same guy as Call Me by Your Name and Suspiria remake because of the story content and the tone and somewhat. But also another thing is that you can tell he loves like older, like 70s cinema, because all three of those movies have the look and the feel like they were made in the 70s, like through the editing, I don't know what kind of camera he uses. I don't know if it's like actual film cameras or if they just like in post just make it look like film when they're actually using digital cameras, but it looks and feels like an older movie in the best possible way, and it's beautifully filmed, and score is fantastic. I think it's Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross who have done like all of David Fincher's most recent movies, and they did Soul recently, so they've kind of been branching out. And this is a very different type of score for them because they're usually put out more like kind of like eerie, like almost electronic sounding, like tension building music. And this has much more of a like old fashioned kind of guitar based Americana type of score that's really lovely and like adds to the story and helps to bring out the emotions. And yeah, the performances are fantastic. Like you said, Mark Rylance. I don't think I've ever seen him play a role quite like this one before. Like I'm used to seeing him, particularly whenever he does a movie with Spielberg, playing kind of more nice, like gentle, friendly characters, like the BFG, the Big Friendly Giant, and even in Bridge of Spies, where he's playing like this Russian. He's a nice Russian, you know. He's kind of sweet. But this, yeah, he is just so fucking creepy every time he is on screen. You are just on edge, and particularly when you find out his process, how he goes about doing certain things, you're just like, oh, Jesus Christ. And yeah, the love story, it really sucked me in. Like obviously Timothee Chalamet, he's proven over the last several years how great an actor he is.
Mm.
But I think this is really like Taylor Russell's movie, and she's someone who's been around for a while. She was uh, Sterling K. Brown's daughter in Waves a few years back, and she's the lead in the Escape Room movies. But this is really like her movie where she gets to really like stretch and show off just what she can do as an actress, and she brings so much empathy to this character who does some pretty fucked up, horrible, disgusting stuff
Mm.
throughout the movie, like stuff that it's like, oh Jesus, like if someone was like this was around me for real, I would not want to go near them because I would fear for my life.
Mm.
But she makes the character relatable and somebody you want to stick with throughout the entire movie. And there's one scene where she brings out the Viola Davis snot when she's crying at one
Oh.
point because she's seen something really horrific. And she really helps to like her and Chalamet really like suck you into the story and make you invested and get you to care about what's going on when you could so easily be put off by it because of the content. And yeah, it's one of those movies that it's dark, it's creepy, but it's also oddly like emotional and sweet, and it's something I haven't been able to stop thinking about since I saw it.
Yeah. Thank you, Vante V Arcade there. Thank you for the 45 bits. Much appreciated. Thank you for showing some love, man. Thanks for showing up. Yeah, I agree with you there. And I love this movie's use of kind of quiet moments. You know what I mean? Where it's just kind of moments where you see characters just sitting and kind of just see like where they're driving or they're just sitting in a field or where they're in a like an apartment or a space and you kind of just like it's not that much dialogue, you know. But I mean, with in the camera's just there, just kind of lingering a little bit. You know, I kind of love those kind of moments there in this movie, and I love the relationship between Timothée Chalamet and Taylor Russell. You know, kind of their relationship there and how they kind of form this connection. And kind of, you know, Taylor Russell, who this is really, you know, her movie, and she does a fantastic job at it. I forgot she was in Waves there, you know, and I think she did remember in Waves, I remember that movie. I think she did a great job there, you know, thinking about that movie now. And, yeah, I think it will really leave you thinking about it, you know, kind of a little bit more, you know, after you watch it, you know, experience there. I wouldn't say like I wouldn't be as high on it as you. I don't think it's my favorite of the year. Will it be in kind of my best of list? Like I'll see what kind of zone what shakes up on my best of list. But I do appreciate a movie like this, definitely. And I do appreciate, you know, a lot of stuff that it's doing here. And kind of some, you know, you see some kind of other, because it's mainly just the two of them. It's mainly just Timothée Chalamet and just Taylor Russell. You see just mainly two of them. And you see some other kind of side performances, like I mentioned, kind of come in there, like with Michael Stahlberg, who kind of shows up here, who has a great little bit in this movie as well. But you kind of do see some other kind of other notable names that kind of come in there. The actor who plays her father, I'm trying to pull up his name right now. If I'm trying to pull it up. You remember his name?
Uh, yes, I want to say Andre Holland.
Yes.
I want to say he was the like the grown up version of the love interest in Moonlight. Yeah,
Yes.
the adult version of that dude, opposite Trevante Rhodes.
Yes. He plays her father in this, and even again, even though he's in it for a little bit, he has a great little bit here as well. That's really good too. And then I won't kind of maybe spoil it, but the woman who plays her mother too, is an actress who I guess you get to like play crazy people and mentalists, because I feel like she's done that quite a bit. I feel like, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah, I think so.
and some other stuff. She had kind of has a little good bit in here too. Yeah, I mean, I kind of really appreciate a lot of what this movie is doing, and a lot of the characterizations here, and a lot of kind of the moments of just kind of like you're feeling that kind of horror there, and that tension, and then also you're going, for me, I was going back and forth between a lot of disgust for these people, and then kind of almost sadness for these people too, in a way. I mean, Taylor Russell, kind of has this idea of, what I mean, like, forced to kind of do some of the things that she does, and doesn't really want to do it, and really thinks about a lot of these consequences that, why she's doing it. That kind of makes her a little bit of a morally gray type person, which I was hearing in the book. It's sort of kind of a little bit, not as much. I think she's in the book. She's a little bit more forceful about her decisions than here in the movie. To make her maybe a little bit more sympathetic, maybe, I guess. Yeah, I mean, I was really impressed by the movie. Do you see any kind of nominations for like Taylor Russell or Timothee Chalamet for this?
Um, I'd love to see Taylor Russell nominated for Best Actress. I think you're right. Mark Rylance is so good. Like, he could possibly get some love for Best Supporting Actor. I think cinematography and score should be nominated. Like, they're that fucking good. Um, I don't know if it'll get Best Picture because it is a little under the radar. Like, not a lot people, I think, at least that I know of, are talking about it, which is a shame because, like, there's a lot of stuff in there that I think could appeal to a lot of different people if they did go out of their way to see it, whether it be the horror elements, the dramatic elements, the romantic elements, and whatnot. Like, I hope this movie does find an audience and more people sort of like discover it and fall in love with it and are able to like sort of like spread the word and show it to other people and like get more eyes on it. So hopefully that's the case. Like maybe once it hits streaming, it'll pick up more steam. But yeah, it's I think it's kind of a dark horse if it's under any awards consideration at all at this point.
Yeah, I don't expect it to get Best Picture, like you said, because it is so kind of under the radar. Maybe for something, visual, or sound. The sound in this movie, when you see a lot of the things that people do in it, the sound definitely will probably creep you out when you see a lot of the things that people are doing in this movie. Did make me hungry though. I will say that. I don't know. Maybe I'm messed up. I'm messed up in the head though. I was like, man, I really want a burger right now. I
Yeah, it
did.
did not make me hungry. Like the menu is a movie that makes me hungry. This is not a movie that makes me hungry at all.
Maybe I'm just messed up in the head. Maybe. But yeah. Were there any kind of bad spots for you in this movie? Any bad things?
For me, no. It is. I wouldn't say it's a boring movie, but it is a slow movie, and I know that kind of turns some people off. Like our attention spans have just gotten worse and worse. I feel over time, where if there's not a set piece every 5 minutes or a joke every 2 minutes, people just kind of get really easily bored. And I could see some people like maybe getting a little impatient with this because it does take its time, but it takes its time for a purpose. And there is one scene, like the scene you referred to, with Michael Stuhlbarg and this other person who I don't want to say his name because I don't know if that would be considered like spoiler, but it's not someone I'm used to seeing act, and I thought he did a great job for what he was given. I could see some people going like, this could probably go. It doesn't really affect the plot, and I could see that, but I think it does ultimately serve kind of a purpose in differentiating people like that between and the people we're following, like pointing out what makes them different and why we can root for one more easily than the other.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I kind of love moments like that. I do see a point about the slow things as much as I pointed about the space and the use of space and how it kind of does a lot of stuff. Yeah, you could maybe kind of pick things up just a little bit in the movie. But I like seeing the kind of little bit of that slow burn there, a lot of the stuff that happens in the film, and seeing kind of things develop there. So, what would be your rating for Bones and All?
My rating would be are we? Is it like a stream it or go to the theater or?
So our rating system. So our highest rating you can give something is This Is Cinema. That's our highest one. Then we have a tune in, tune out. Then there's a stream it. Then there's a skip it. Then there's waste of fucking film is the very lowest rating you can give something. Yeah. So and you can vary in like tune in. You can say strong tune in, low tune in, things like that. So.
In that case, I would give it. I'm torn. I'm actually kind of torn right now between a high tune in and This Is Cinema. Um, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna go with This Is Cinema. Like, yeah, I can see how some things about it might not grab people immediately, but this was one that it grabbed me. Like this is so like my speed, and this is the kind of movie that I wish would get made more often, but it really doesn't because so many other types of movies are it feels are like the focus and what people get excited for now. But this is the special movie to me. Like this feels like something like I want to revisit this and I want to share it with other people. And yeah, it's hot. It's gonna be high on my best of list at the end of the year.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I give it a strong tune in for me. Like I said, I think there should be more movies like this. Very interesting. Care what they do here. Love the direction of it. Love the performances of it. Could pick up a little bit, I guess. A little bit with the movie. That's just about it. But yeah, and I love Mark Rylance's performances. I think definitely he will get Best Supporting for this. Because I did love his performance very much. And to see where that character goes is very interesting, too, because you're just on edge every single time he's on screen. You don't really know what he's going to do or what's going to really happen there. So that's kind of...
Oh yeah.
You know what he kind of looked like in the movie? He kind of looked like... what was that guy's name? The dude who was the Army veteran who turned into an actor. What's his name? Arlie Ermy? Arnie?
Yeah, Arlie Ermy. I
Yeah,
can
he
kind of see that.
Yeah, he
Now
kind of
that I
looked a
think
little bit
about
like
it.
him in the movie to me. A little bit like it kind of looked a little bit like him. But yeah, I absolutely really dug his performance, and Taylor Russell does an amazing job as because it really is her movie. Because you really are really mostly with her and seeing things from her view through most of the movie. And she does a terrific job. I also would love to see her get nominated as well. So yeah, a strong tune in, and This Is Cinema for Bones and All. Highly recommend you all check it out if it's playing around you.